If you get up to like an audition and you're very nervous, or you get up on stage and you get very nervous, one of the things that you can do is prepare for that by practicing that anxiety, by simulating it. So jog in place for 1 minute, or do push-ups or jumping jacks for 1 minute. Get your heart rate elevated and get that high anxiety going just by like moving as much as you possibly can, as fast as you can, and then play through your audition or play through the piece, whatever it is you're going to do, and simulate your heart rate going really fast. That way when you get on the stage and your heart rate starts going, you won't be like, oh no, I'm getting really nervous. Instead, you'll be like, oh, I've already prepared for this. I know how to do this. I have practiced this many times, and you still sounded good while doing this. Prepare for the worst case scenarios. I've lived in Arizona my whole life, and so when I was auditioning outside of the state in the winter when it was cold in other places, I would go outside in the morning and I'd play through the audition exercise like on my pad, so I wouldn't, wake everybody up. So we used a quieter pad than this. Play through the audition material right before you go to bed and right when you wake up. So when you are super groggy, worst case scenario, let's say you don't sleep the night or two before the audition because you're nervous. If you've practiced playing when you are sleepy and then you show up to the actual audition, like after a month of doing that, and let's say you're tired, you'll be like, oh, it's fine. I know I can play this even though I'm hungry or sleepy or whatever. Another thing that you can do is to just improve your attention overall. So just like focus on what you're playing without focusing on the mistakes that you made previously or focusing on too many things at once. There's a tendency to work and focus on too many different things. Like I need to focus on my fulcrum. I need to focus on my heights. I need to focus on lowering my heights. I need to focus on like playing relaxed, etc. And then that becomes too overwhelming where you're thinking about too many things all at once. So if you do like meditation where you are just focusing on your breath, or you're focusing on an object in a room, or you're focusing on like the sound of, your dog breathing, etc. These are all ways that you can actually train your attention to improve your playing over time, because most of the mistakes that I make when I'm streaming, like when I'm doing these like practice streams, are mentals. And it comes from me thinking about what I'm going to say next to make an educational moment, or anything other than when I'm playing, or when I will try and like talk while I am playing. That also messes me up because again, I'm just processing too many things at the same time. If you're preparing for an audition, or if you are like getting stage fright, etc., practice for that. Visualize what it looks like. There's like YouTube videos panning out to just like a large crowd who's like unengaged with what you are doing, and you can like put that up on your screen while you just play through stuff, so you get used to like what does it look like when you're staring at a stadium of tens of thousands of people. If you've never performed that way before, you can choke. One of the years when I was in academy, we were performing at a ballpark that was like just filled with thousands and thousands of people. It was one of the largest audiences we've been in front of, and they were not interested in us because it was for a baseball game, and our center snare kept screwing up, and it was like on the jumbotron, and like everybody like could see it because we were like all standing there, and we were able to see the screen, and the camera like zoomed in on them. Imagine what that looks like to see all those thousands of people and to see yourself up on the screen, and visualize that while you're performing, and that can help you out with not ticking like that. You can improve your playing by improving your attention and your focus. One of the ways that you can actually work on this with a drumline is to do something called the set game. Get together with like one other person on the line, go to set, and your goal is to not laugh. The goal of everybody else around you on the drumline is to make somebody laugh. You have to just sit there and just focus on staring at like their forehead, or just playing something in your head, doing anything you can to focus on not laughing. And it's a fun little way that you can develop your attention and like make it so that you are more focused over time. Because I don't know about you, but some weird stuff has happened sometimes like while at set. So that's a way that you can actually practice that. To be very candid, most of the musicians that I know who studied music got burned out from it at some point because they were making music for other people that like their professors wanted rather than making music for themselves, and that burned them out. It burned me out as well. Like after I finished my bachelor's, I was playing like a bunch of marimba and like all sorts of instruments that I didn't care about. Like rudimental is my passion, but I was forced to do all this concert percussion stuff that I didn't care about, and I was like, I don't want to learn this marimba piece, but I have to, and I needed to take a break from it. So sometimes like a break is fine. Another way you can do it is like if you're really into the rudimental stuff, like pull up lot clips. That can be inspiring to see like what are other people playing. Stuff like that like inspires me to go, I want to go practice. Another thing that you can do is just like set aside time and be like, all right, I'm going to do 5 minutes of practice, and if after 5 minutes I'm not interested in continuing it, then I will stop. But like force yourself to do that 5 minutes. Usually for like me, after that 5 minutes, I'll be like, you know what, this isn't actually as bad as I thought it was, and then I'll just continue doing whatever it is that I was working on. I don't wake up every single day and just be like, yeah, I want to do the same thing every single day. Like there are going to be days where you're like, I'm going to take a break, go play some Baldur's Gate 3 or whatever. And then there are other days where you're like, I can't wait to do this thing. That's normal. It fluctuates. Rhythmic modulation. Slowly morph it into something new. You can also do it with threes. Threes goes into flam taps and then goes back out the other way. Turns into flam taps. Good luck cleaning that up as a line, but it's a really neat concept. Momentum, a drumline from Arizona, did that. A couple ways that you can work on improving marking time, getting your feet going in time with whatever it is you're playing. If you have a drum kit, arrange it so that your left foot is on the bass drum, your right foot is on the hi-hat. Step off on your left foot. You want to hear boom, chick, 1, 2, 3, 4. Audibly play their feet so they can hear it while they just sit there with a pad. But another way to do it is actually just physically feel the step. So you're basically going to pound the feet down temporarily. This is not a permanent thing. So that way you can feel it through your body. Over time, you get them to lighten up their feet and just get to a normal mark time while doing this. And with permission, if people are okay with it, you can pat like on the shoulder, use the back of your hand, just because consent issues and all that fun stuff, you want to avoid some issues. But you can pat with permission on the back of like their shoulder and make it so they can feel it. But being able to internalize that pulse and have more senses attached to their feet, the better it's going to be in the long run. Because a lot of early drumline players, when they first start learning how to do this, they actually don't hear or feel their feet while they're moving. So when they're like marking time to it, they might go at a completely different speed than what their hands are actually playing because they're not actually able to process it and think about it because they're focusing so much on like cleaning up their hands and whatnot. So if you can attach more senses to the feet while you are marking time, that'll make it so that you can improve like the feet issues that you might be getting. Post it on social media, like any critique is welcome. Play through something multiple times. So that way people can see what are the consistent errors and what are the inconsistent errors. If you're just playing like your best rep, then when people like look at it, they're gonna be like, oh, you should really work on A, B, and C. But what if the actual issues were X, Y, and Z? Those were the more consistent errors that you're having. The A, B, and C was just like a brain fart. That happens once every 100 reps. And I know that can be scary. Trust me, it's worth it in the long run if you want that kind of feedback. When I first started streaming, practicing, I like nearly had a panic attack. Sharing my mistakes was not what I spent decades preparing myself to do. It was always spending months working on something and then sharing the raw everything. Took some getting used to. But I highly recommend it. What 10 grids should you practice? If you're at the link right there, diddle on 1, flam on 1, cheese on 1, flam drag on 1, flam 5 on 1 for both the triplet and the 16th note. So there's your 10 right there. With every single one of these play-alongs, you just go into the timestamp and you can jump to whatever BPM you want. You could start as slow as 40 beats a minute, or you could go as fast as 200 beats a minute. It'll tap you off. And you can work on that. Good question, Willie.